Japan faces a crisis not of war or economics, but of numbers, a rapidly shrinking population. For decades, the country has enjoyed stability and prosperity, but now, a silent emergency is unfolding as birth rates plummet and life expectancy soars. The result is a society growing older, with fewer young people to support the aging majority. From Tokyo's bustling streets to the quiet corners of rural villages, the effects are everywhere. Fewer workers in offices and factories, understaffed hospitals struggling to care for the elderly, and once thriving farms now left untended. Communities are shrinking, and local businesses are closing their doors for good. The workforce is aging rapidly, and each year, there are fewer people to fill essential roles. Many companies now rely on senior employees to keep operations running, while younger generations are increasingly scarce. This demographic shift threatens not only Japan's economic legacy, but also its ability to care for its citizens and maintain its social safety nets. Schools are closing, and hospitals are stretched thin. The debate over immigration is no longer theoretical, it's about national survival. For the first time, the question of who will sustain Japan's future is urgent and unavoidable. Without new workers, Japan's economic engine will stall, and its global competitiveness will fade. The risk is not just economic decline, but a loss of vitality and innovation. Yet, immigration reform has been slow, hampered by deep-rooted government caution and bureaucratic obstacles. Many officials fear rapid change could disrupt Japan's social fabric. The reasons for this delay are complex, tied to the structure of Japan's government and its resistance to rapid change. Political debates drag on, while the population continues to age. At the heart of the issue are powerful ministries with conflicting interests, pulling policy in different directions. This tug-of-war makes decisive action difficult. This internal struggle has left employers and the nation waiting for a clear plan. Business owners and workers alike are left in limbo, uncertain about the future. Understanding this bureaucratic battle is key to grasping why Japan has struggled to open its doors. The path forward is tangled in paperwork and political hesitation. The stakes are high. The future prosperity of the nation depends on finding a solution. Every day of delay makes the challenge more daunting for families, businesses, and communities. The time for action is now. Japan stands at a crossroads, and the decisions made today will shape its destiny for generations to come. Japan's population peaked at 128 million in 2008, marking a high point in the nation's demographic history. Since then, the number has been steadily declining, and experts project it will fall below 100 million by the middle of this century, a dramatic shift with far-reaching consequences. Today, more than a quarter of Japan's population is over the age of 65. This aging society is creating a severe labor shortage, as fewer young people are available to enter and sustain the workforce. The effects are visible everywhere. Construction companies, elder care facilities, and even convenience stores are struggling to find enough staff to keep their doors open and services running smoothly. For every 100 job seekers, there are often 150 open positions. This imbalance has persisted for years, making it increasingly difficult for businesses to fill essential roles. Rural areas are hit the hardest. Young people continue to leave for the cities, leaving local industries and communities without the support they desperately need to survive. The birth rate remains stubbornly low, and despite government incentives, there's no sign of a reversal in this trend. As a result, immigration is no longer just an option. It has become a necessity to power the economy, fill critical jobs, and care for the growing elderly population. The real question now is how Japan will welcome, support, and successfully integrate foreign workers into its society and workplaces. Despite new policies and initiatives, the gap between available jobs and workers has not closed, and the challenge remains urgent. The labor shortage is now a nationwide crisis, threatening the future of businesses large and small, and demanding bold, immediate solutions. The status quo is unsustainable, and the choices Japan makes today will shape its future for generations to come. Japan has long taken a cautious, restrictive approach to immigration, officially rejecting unskilled labor. The country's immigration laws have historically prioritized social cohesion and cultural homogeneity, making it difficult for outsiders to settle permanently. This stance has shaped both public perception and government policy for decades. Economic pressures in the 1990s led to special visas for Nikkei-jin and the technical intern training program, which became a source of low-wage labor. These programs were designed to address labor shortages without fundamentally changing Japan's approach to immigration. These programs were framed as temporary, not as true immigration policy. Workers were expected to return home after a few years, with little opportunity to settle or build a life in Japan. In 2019, the Specified Skilled Worker Visa marked a shift, allowing blue-collar foreign workers in sectors with severe shortages. Two tracks were created, one for basic skills and another for higher skills with potential for longer stays and family reunification. This was seen as a significant, if cautious, step forward. One for basic skills, which offers limited rights and no path to permanent residency. Another for higher skills with potential for longer stays and family reunification, providing a glimmer of hope for those seeking stability. Yet, the program's complexity and slow rollout have kept numbers far below targets. Many employers and workers struggle to navigate the system, and language barriers remain a significant obstacle. Most policies remain temporary, offering little long-term security for workers. Many foreign employees face uncertainty about their future, with limited access to social benefits or pathways to permanent residency. Japan's system is a patchwork of half measures, reflecting deep reluctance to embrace full immigration. The country's aging population and shrinking workforce make reform increasingly urgent, but progress is slow. Bureaucratic stalemate has left the country without a coherent strategy. Political debates continue, but consensus remains elusive. The need for comprehensive reform is clear, as Japan faces mounting demographic and economic challenges that cannot be ignored much longer. Immigration reform in Japan is shaped by three powerful ministries, each with its own agenda. The Ministry of Justice acts as gatekeeper, prioritizing national security and strict immigration control. The Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry pushes for more open policies to address labor shortages and support economic growth. The Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare is caught in the middle, balancing the need for workers with the protection of labor rights. This tug-of-war results in slow, compromised and confusing policies. Each ministry's priorities create friction, stalling progress. The result is a fragmented system that fails to meet the country's urgent needs. Real reform requires breaking this bureaucratic deadlock. Until then, Japan's immigration policy will remain stuck in limbo. The Ministry of Justice, MOJ, holds the keys to Japan's borders, viewing immigration through a lens of control and risk management. Their policies are restrictive, with complex visa processes and a preference for temporary programs. For businesses, this bureaucracy means delays and frustration. The MOJ's focus on control explains the reliance on short-term visas, avoiding long-term settlement. This cautious stance often clashes with ministries pushing for more workers. Even when reforms pass, they come with heavy regulations and slow implementation. The MOJ's gatekeeper role ensures change is incremental and limited. This dynamic is a major barrier to meaningful reform. The Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, MHLW, balances the need for foreign workers in sectors like healthcare with protecting domestic labor standards. They support bringing in essential caregivers, but worry about wage suppression and exploitation. As a result, they insist on strict regulations, minimum wages, and support systems for foreign workers. These protections, while necessary, add complexity and slow hiring. The MHLW's cautious approach often clashes with calls for faster, simpler solutions. The Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, champions the needs of Japanese business, seeing labor shortages as an existential threat. METI pushes for faster, easier hiring of foreign workers and simplified visa processes. Their pro-business stance often meets resistance from ministries focused on control and worker protection. Policies end up as compromises, watered down by competing concerns. The Specified Skilled Worker Program is a result of METI's efforts, but with strict caps and oversight. METI's push for bold reform is consistently tempered by bureaucratic caution. Politics and public perception further slow immigration reform. Politicians avoid the word immigration, preferring foreign workers to ease public anxiety about social change. This cautious language leads to incremental, piecemeal policies rather than bold strategies. The Ministry of Justice's control and the MHLW's protections align with public sentiment, making METI's economic arguments harder to sell. Without strong leadership from the top, ministries negotiate among themselves, resulting in slow, consensus-driven change. The lack of a clear national vision keeps Japan's policies one step behind its demographic crisis. Political caution has left Japan with a framework that lags behind its urgent needs. Japan stands at a crossroads: continue with stagnation or embrace a more open, dynamic future through immigration reform. Real change requires ending bureaucratic infighting and establishing a unified, long-term vision from the highest levels of government. A centralized immigration agency could cut through red tape and implement coherent policy. Visa processes must be simplified, with clear paths to residency and robust integration programs. The focus must shift from temporary labor to building an inclusive, sustainable society. The stakes are high. Japan's economic future and social stability depend on decisive action. Embracing immigration is not just economic necessity, but a choice about Japan's identity in the 21st century. The time for half measures is over. The time for action is now.